There we go. Welcome everybody to the HEAT team call. This is Nikki Cotton, and my husband and I and the other HEAT National Marketing Directors host this call during the month on Tuesday nights. And I'm particularly excited about this call. Kris and I have been with the Juice Plus company for longer than Juice Plus has been around. And I am particularly excited about tonight, and it got inspired by Kris, who's going to be our first speaker, when we saw her speaking in Las Vegas. And she just had, I see Lisa nodding her head, she had such a beautiful story to share with all of us that at that moment in time, I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we had one night, maybe every 6 weeks or whatever, where it was just story night. And all we got to hear was amazing stories. So we are doing that tonight. And of course, Kris did inspire that. I want to say, in light of everything that's going on today, it's so important for us ourselves personally and to share with our friends everything that we can do to completely have the strongest possible immune systems around. And we have the availability to do what we're doing. Tonight, we're not going to be talking about all of that. We're going to just talk about the stories. And you're going to hear stories that you are going to want to share with other moms, and even moms that may not have children that have special needs, but that have friends that have this. These stories are such stories of hope and faith and healing. I think you're going to be just delighted with the stories. So Kris, I'm going to start with you. You're a mother of 2 boys. One's 13, one's 16. I believe it's your 16-year-old that has cerebral palsy. And it's a really serious, it's not mild, it's more than moderate, and he demands, and I don't mean he demands, but he needs special care 24/7. And then you have a 13-year-old boy that's more than rambunctious, and he's ADHD, and I know that Juice Plus has played a big part in your story. So would you share your story with the people, you know, and let them know what they need to know and hear from a mom that has experienced what you and your family has experienced. And perfect.
Evening, everybody. Hi. So let me start my timer. So my name's Kris Hansen, and I am a registered nurse for 25 years. And up until August of 2019, I had never heard about Juice Plus. A friend of mine from Facebook shared it with me. We'd been friends for a couple of years, back and forth on direct messages, and she finally just said, listen, we need to talk, and now is the time, and if we don't schedule it, it isn't going to happen. And I was like, okay, let's talk. And I was floored because I've actually been looking for something like this. I have crushed every vitamin known anywhere for my 2 boys. I have one boy who's 13. He has autism, high functioning, and ADHD. My older boy, who's 16, is Lucian, and this is his birthday today. And he is a lovely boy, but he was born with an anoxic brain injury. So he has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair for life. He's got seizures, and he's intellectually disabled. So he's full custodial care. He does not do any of his own self-care. So, and he's a wonderful boy, but he's got moderate speaking abilities. He can say things like, want to eat, want to watch movie, want read to me, this kind of thing, want iPad, that kind of thing. And if you ask him, Lucian, say this, then he'll say it back to you. And every time you talk to him, it's like this long period before he actually responds. So I'm always looking for the thing to help them, because my son Lucian, you cannot negotiate with him. He just spits out everything green or anything he doesn't want. So he's totally in the toddler eating behaviors. And my son with autism has an eating disorder. He's, resistant to any type of new foods, new textures, all that kind of stuff. So we're down to about 10 different foods that he'll eat. So I've been looking for something, and he won't drink and eat bars. He won't drink shakes. I mean, it's just been an uphill battle. So we decided to try this Juice Plus stuff because, for one, I was halfway through my bariatric program. I was scheduled for surgery in October. I signed my consents already. I had just gotten sick and tired of gaining and losing the same 40 pounds, literally 500 pounds worth of gains and losses. It's disgusting. I was over it. So I decided to take a chance on Juice Plus and the Shred. And I also put my kids on it because that was the smartest thing to do, right? Well, in the first month, I had actually lost enough weight that I no longer qualified for my bariatric surgery program, which is like amazing, right? And then I was like scared. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Well, I just committed to the ongoing Shred program. And as of now, I have lost 40 pounds. Yay! And I keep on losing. I just keep on. I know it's not a weight loss program, but I've had a lot of success with micronutrition and macronutrition. So and I'm vegan-ish. Vegan-ish is kind of like, I don't like put a lot of barriers in front of myself to feed my body. So with my children, this is the clincher, right? My son Lucian, on Thanksgiving Day, having done these fruits and vegetables capsules that I open up and put on applesauce and feed to him because he won't take a capsule by whole and he doesn't do gummies. He said without any prompting whatsoever, while hugging me, he said, "I love you." So it still gets me till this day because this child has been in speech therapy since he was 3 months old. And he's not had any changes to anything. This micronutrition is like helping him gain the neurological connections to speak faster and to answer questions faster. It's like amazing. So we're just hopeful it's not like some miracle drug or anything like that. It's just basic nutrition that I couldn't get into them any other way. So this is like fantastic. Now, at around the same time, I got a call from my younger son, James's teacher, his special needs teacher. He said, "What are you doing with James?" And I'm like, "I don't know. What am I doing? I haven't done anything different with James." And they're like, "No, he's engaged in school. And he's actually focused on the work in class." And I'm like, "Oh, well, we're giving him these capsules that have fruits and vegetables in them because he won't eat them. So this is the only way I can get that stuff into him." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, tell me more about this stuff. I can't believe it." Like, and I can't believe it either. And I asked him, like, "Why are you like now engaged in school?" And he's just like, "Mommy, I just decided to start paying attention." Well, that's what a 13-year-old's going to tell you, right? So I have like 2 minutes left. So I want to share with you one more exciting thing, right? My insomniac husband, who hasn't slept well since he was 18 years old. He's doubled up on Juice Plus and he sleeps better than he has in the last, like, what has it been? Oh, that's going to tell you like 40 years or something. Wow. So like, that was really wild, unexpected. Now my mom, who's 76 years old, spent last year completely on her couch, not doing anything, not going anywhere, telling her friends, "No, I didn't want to go here and that." She just came back from Florida, hanging out with her buddies on Marco Island. I picked her up at the airport on the 7th of March. Believe me, she's okay. She's in her own self-quarantine now. But yeah, she's like living life again, right? And she's been doing the Shred too. She's lost 25 pounds. She does not exercise. She will walk a little bit, but that's it. So seriously, I'm like, everybody that has touched this stuff, I'm like, it is clear to me as a nurse that we are dying from a lack of micronutrition. We are dying from a lack of phytonutrient. And I mean, because of what's happening right now, I'm tripling my Juice Plus right now. You could double the price of this and I'd pay for it for what it's done for my two boys alone. So that's just my story, and I'm having a blast. I have to tell people about this. I love it. I enjoy sharing about it. I sold a tower garden yesterday. Everybody wants to everybody wants to grow their own veggies right now. So go out there and tell everybody about this.
Yeah, well, Kris, first of all, thank you so much. You can all see on this Zoom call tonight why I was inspired to put together a night of stories, because we know there's a ton of them out there, and Kris is such an amazing speaker, and she's so incredibly natural and engaging, and I fell in love with her, as we all did, the whole row in Las Vegas. We fell in love with you, Kris, and we were poking each other going, let's get her on a call. She's just so amazing. So one of the things that I want to remind you, if you are listening to this for the first time and you don't know much about our plant powders, Juice Plus, we don't claim to cure any disease whatsoever. These are just personal experiences, but we know that when we feed our body good fuel, good things happen. And some are small and some are bigger, and tonight happens to be some big stories. So I just want to remind everybody of that. So Kris, again, thank you. I think everybody should like stand up and give her like a standing ovation. I know we're virtual, but since we can't be in person, you guys, what if we pretended we were in an audience right now of 60 people? Would you not all be going, whoa, that's a great story? So just saying, by the way, during this time of isolation, I think it's really important that we connect like this. That's another lesson for tonight. Just being in community and cheering each other on and giving each other good news and actively looking each other in the eye, because we're not seeing each other on the day-to-day. So with that said, I'm going to go to Jennifer Sestock, and I hope I'm saying that right, Sestock, I think. And Melissa suggested that we talked to you, Jennifer, and I'm so glad she did, because you and I got to have a little conversation. I know we've met a long time ago, but now we got to have another conversation this last week and get to know each other again. And I have to say that what I fell in love about Jennifer is she's really honoring her child's life and who her child is. And her authenticity around that was very touching to me. And so I just want to tell you, Jennifer, I really appreciate, and so will everybody else, your story that you're going to share tonight. And so I'm just going to let you just share your story, and they're going to fall in love with you just like I did.
Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Kris. That your story was amazing. I enjoyed listening. So as Nikki said, my name is Jennifer, and I live in New York with my husband and 9-year-old daughter, soon to be 10. And just a little background about myself, I'm a physical therapist. And as a physical therapist, I've always prided myself on taking good care of my health and helping others do the same. And when my daughter was born, about 9.5 years ago, life took an interesting turn. She was diagnosed at 4 months of age with a rare lung disease, which required a feeding tube to be placed in her belly, a CPAP breathing machine to be worn at night like you would use if you had sleep apnea, and round-the-clock nursing. And then a few years later, she was also diagnosed with a very serious seizure disorder, and she actually almost died from that. She also had some of the more common ailments that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, like poor gut health, allergies, eczema, difficulty gaining weight, and constant upper respiratory and lung infections. And I always knew the importance of whole food nutrition, but I just found it completely overwhelming. People would talk gluten-free, dairy-free. It just was like, it would always make me crazy. And I would look to the doctors for advice, and they pushed one medication after another. And at one point, believe it or not, my little 4-year-old was on 15 different medications, all which, as you know, have different side effects. And then we had other people on our team, even a nutritionist, believe it or not, who would make suggestions for me on supplements and different foods. The problem was it often made her gassy, bloated, uncomfortable, and one of the supplements actually even created behavioral changes, which was really scary. So I had a child who was sick, skinny, and just was unhappy and on this roller coaster ride I couldn't get off of. And then I met a lovely mom at my daughter's school, or two moms suggested that my daughter try Juice Plus. And they said that this had made a big impact on their family's health, and they felt like it could help me. So I went to one of the mom's homes, and I literally sat at her dining room table for probably 4 hours. I asked a million questions because I was skeptical. I had tried everything, and who is this? And although this mom was nice, I didn't know if this would help my daughter. But it sounded really interesting, and I had some hope. And we had just had a new holistic nutritionist that joined our team just about a month ago. So I decided to call her up and I said, "What do you know about Juice Plus?" And thank God she said, "Juice Plus is a great idea. I've been following the company for 15 years, definitely put Samantha on it." And that was all I needed. I said, okay, we started and we never looked back. And within probably 3 or 4 months, things started to shift. Started seeing improvements in her gut health, in her allergies, in her eczema, and even her breathing. I started weaning her one at a time off allergy meds, systemic allergy meds, constipation meds, and she even started using oxygen less frequently at night. She still gets sick, as all kids do, but she doesn't get hit as hard, and she recovers much more quickly. She rarely uses antibiotics now, and when she does, it's never for a lung infection. This is a kid with a lung disease. Recently, she had a pulmonary function test, and she knocked it out of the park. The doctor nearly fell off her chair. And she also had a chest x-ray, which showed improvement, which the doctor did not think would ever improve. So that was a miracle. The best part for me, though, is that she hasn't been hospitalized since she's been on Juice Plus. She used to live in a hospital. I was a mom who lived in a hospital 2 weeks, twice a year at least, if not more, and we were no longer in the hospital. So one simple change by adding some simple whole food nutrition into her diet was the catalyst for so many other changes. She started making healthier choices, enjoying and able to tolerate healthier options, no more bloating with spinach or broccoli. She could eat these things. Her gut had improved. And she also started to identify herself as the Juice Plus kid, which after being the sick kid for so long, that's pretty impressive. And she loves sharing about Juice Plus and telling people about Juice Plus. So the mom also shared with me that there's a family health study where if an adult takes Juice Plus, they can get some Juice Plus free for their child for up to 4 years. So I thought, I haven't been taking good care of myself. Many parents don't take good care of themselves, just the challenges of being a parent. But when you have a child with medical issues, a lot of times people don't take good care of themselves. So I knew I had gaps in my diet. I knew I needed to do better. And things started to shift for me too within 4 months. I have 2 autoimmune diseases, one of which I developed during the stress of all this. One went into remission. The other is pretty stable. I had improvements in my gut health, my joint pain, and I rarely get sick, which when you have a kid with a lung issue at home, you don't want to be sick. And I was sick 3 or 4 times a year or a winter. So I rarely get sick. And again, when I do, I don't get hit as hard and I don't need antibiotics. I recover much more quickly. I'm much more resilient. So I knew I needed to share this with the world. You can't keep this a secret. That would be selfish of me, right? That would be selfish of me to keep this as a secret. So I knew that I needed to share this with other people. And I wanted to join the mission, but how was I going to do this? I'm a busy working mom. I still have a child with medical issues. Although she's doing much better, she still needs a lot of attention. How was I going to do this? But I decided to take the leap of faith. I paid the $50, I think now it's $52, to join the company. And I was pleasantly surprised how easy it's been to weave this into my life. The company is phenomenal. They do all the shipping, all the billing. I just share my story, build relationships, and help people get healthy. That's what I do. And on top of that, I'm building a paycheck. So I'm starting to work my way towards financial freedom, which is just another added bonus to that. Now I'm able to work part-time instead of full-time. Hopefully I'll be able to retire myself, or I should say I will be able to retire myself. And I'm helping other people do the same. I'm helping other people get healthy, and I'm helping other people reach their dreams of financial freedom. So this has just been a complete blessing for me and for my family. And I love, like Kris, I love sharing about it. I love helping people get started. It's a simple, easy way to just jumpstart your health. It's not a cure. It's not the only thing we do, but this has been the one thing that has allowed us to make more healthy changes. It's the foundation that we need to build on.
Yeah.
If you don't have a good foundation, nothing works, right? You need a good foundation. So we need to start with a good foundation and build from that. And that's exactly what Juice Plus provides. And during times like this, with everything going on in the world, we need to boost immunity. And a lot of people think just because their kids don't have medical issues that, they don't need this, but you don't want medical issues. There's power in prevention. Don't go through what we are going through with our children. There's power in prevention.
So Jennifer, first of all, thank you so much. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being willing to share. We talked about, did you really want to do this or not? And you sound so at ease and you're just so in your power right now. It's beautiful to hear you. And one of the key things that I think Jennifer said that we all need to say is that how could she not share this? How could she keep it a secret? You don't need to keep this call a secret. This is one that you'll be able to share afterwards after we post it. So just saying, we can share her not secret with a ton of other people. So again, thank you so much. So let's see, how do I get back to gallery view? There we go. So, so next, again, so we've heard from Jennifer, we've heard from Kris. Our next one that we're going to hear from is going to be Karis Stapley. And I had the absolute pleasure of having dinner with Karis about 2 weeks ago in Phoenix. You're all going to totally, I mean, she's so adorable. You could just like eat her up. She's just great. She's got 6 kids. They're absolutely beautiful. From, I think the little one is 8 weeks. You can correct me if I'm wrong. She's teeny. She looks like she's a fake baby. And her oldest one is about to be 13. And she and her family have really gone through the mill with her one son, let alone the fact that she's had 5 other beautiful children, well, 4 other and 1 recently that she's had to take care of during the times that she was dealing with her son. So Karis, I'm gonna let you share your story. And here's Karis Stapley. Isn't she beautiful?
Awesome. Thank you, Nikki. I am really, really, hi ladies. I'm so grateful for this chance to share with you guys because it really means a lot to me. It's become a huge passion of mine because as these other moms can tell and share with you, it's no small thing when you have a child who is hurting. So our oldest, like Nikki said, is almost 13. And I would say we first started noticing struggles with him. He was around the preschool age. We have literally over the years been through the gamut, again, like these other moms, trying so many different things to help our son. He struggles with being on the autism spectrum, identified with ADD, and a couple of different types of that, and a lot of behavioral issues, brain struggles, gut issues, all the things that tend to go along with that. We have drastically changed our diet. We've been to many, many different types of natural doctors. We've tried so many, many different supplements, a few. We moved out of state for him. We're originally from Arizona. We moved to Utah for 3 years, and he went through a brain balance program to help children with these struggles. And again, it's been a journey and we've seen improvements, but I was never satisfied enough, knew that we needed more healing. We flew him to California to see one of the top brain doctors and experts in that field. We did brain SPECT imaging there, and we found that his amygdala in the front of his brain was way too overactive, and the amygdala in the back was underactive. So things weren't balanced. We had testing where he had dysbiose, that means an imbalance of the flora in his gut. So, and along with that, we've had struggles. We've tried different types of schooling. We homeschooled him for a year, and the thing that I'm passionate about most is, again, we've seen improvements, and then sometimes we've seen him plateau for a while. But not only the toll that it takes on that child, but on your marriage, on your family as a whole, your other children, how it affects, how they see the meltdowns, the hard behavior. I recall when he was about 3 years old and my husband was picking him up from preschool, and he looks out the window and he just said, "Dad, why can't I get my brain to tell my body to do what I want it to do?" And that young age, he realized that things were not jiving. They weren't clicking and connecting. He's had the sleep problems, anxiety and depression at times. No child when they're 8 years old should be saying things like, "I don't want to live anymore." Things like that are really hard. Or hurt your heart. Sorry. So that's why I'm super passionate and grateful that we've seen brighter and lighter days since then. This last year, again, in the search, you never stop searching to have your child have the best life and the healthiest life that they can. So we had him on the top of the line of micronutrients that we knew of and could find, the top omegas and top probiotics and all these things that we knew were really important for anybody, but especially children with these struggles. And so I was still frustrated that he was getting sick though all the time. His immune system, any of our kids, he would catch a cold, he would catch the flu so easy. This last fall he was sick probably 3 weeks out of the 4 in November. And so a friend, through a long series of events, I actually had him on the plant-based omegas that they have here with Juice Plus that I was super excited about. And I was very intrigued because I knew how important it was for the brain health of these children. And but to get a high quality omega was very expensive. These I found were very reasonable, and I was excited that I didn't have to worry about heavy metals being in them. So that's what pulled me in that regard. And I'd been working with my children's Montessori school, teaching health and nutrition classes for their young kiddos. And that's where my passion has come for this. It's often our trials that end up making us stronger in who we are. And if we hadn't had these struggles, I don't think I'd be so passionate about my family's health and helping others, because I don't want others to have to go through what we've had to. And if I could help shorten that learning curve, I'll absolutely do it. We stopped counting a couple of years ago, but we've spent well over $100,000 on just this child, and not his whole life and the regular stuff, but I mean in helping him heal. So it's been quite the journey. So he's been on the Juice Plus. We put him on the trio, the fruits, the veggies, and the berries just about less than 3 months ago. And very quickly, I was impressed to see his immune responses going up. He was not getting sick anymore. And if he does get a little bit of something coming on, we just double it, and he gets over it really fast. His stomach issues seem to be so much better. He's actually sleeping. We've tried so many different natural sleep things. He's falling asleep faster. And most times he would wake up exhausted still, but now he's getting up on his own, even on a Saturday without it being school, which is wonderful. And we're seeing just a happier kid overall. And we're really, really grateful for that. So, excuse me, right there, just getting too choked up.
Oh, take a glass of water. You have water by you?
Excuse me. So, just wanted to say that in closing here that this has been something that we're not ever letting go of, and we are super grateful to have in our lives. And I want to spread that and share that to others. And it's blessing him. And now we've got the other children enjoying taking that, and so excited to have the gummies every single day. And finally got my husband to be able to be on this too, and strengthening his immune system and all of ours. And I, being pregnant and having this last one, I too was also on some high quality supplements and different things. But when I went on the Juice Plus, it was interesting how my energy levels, despite having a new baby and being exhausted, I was still going and not crashing or bonking. My hair started growing better and longer. My nails were going thicker and faster, and my skin was growing clear. I've always had acne issues, and that's dying off. So these are fun little things to me as well. The biggest thing was being able to see success in my child, and I'm really grateful for that. So Nikki, thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this with everyone.
Wow, that was just amazing. If you guys want to unmute for 1 second and clap, I want to wrap this call up. First of all, I want to thank our three speakers for sharing clearly, so vulnerable and transparent, all three of you, to share. You know, it's a big thing to go through anything with your children. Small things, you know, happy things. But when they're as big as those three things that the three of you women have talked about, I can't imagine, you know, when my daughter didn't get invited to a party, I felt like somebody kicked me in the gut. You know, that's the worst thing that happened. But seriously, you know, to share these stories, to give hope to other mothers, that's what this community is about. This community is taking care of one another, of sharing with as many people as possible. Can you imagine for Karis and Jennifer and for Kris, if those people who shared with them were too afraid to share a little bit with them, where would they be today? So it's up to us to share the stories of just good health, sharing, drink more water, eat more fruits and vegetables, you know, take a look at our plant powders at least, right? So it's up to us to really create a community outside of this community and really be that ripple effect to really change what our community looks like in terms of health and in terms of support. We really have that possibility. So I want to thank you. All sounded like professional speakers. You almost sound like paid actors. They're not. If anybody's watching for the first time, they're really not. And it was just beautiful. And I want to thank each and every one of you from our hearts. All of you on the call, I know, feel like that. So if all of you would like to unmute yourself in a moment and just give a rousing heat cheer for such amazing, vulnerable women and how powerful they are. So,
Thank you.
Thank you. Telling us.
For our next story night, we're going to have more. Love you all.
Stay connected.
Bye.
Stay